Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. For those of you guys that don't know me, I am Mario. This is Mario Shrimp Tanks. I have about 12 Caridina shrimp tanks now. I've converted some of the other ones I had into Neo Caridina tanks, and so I'll show you guys that in the next video. But today I'm showing you guys two things. This is what my tanks look like now. I'm getting away from Akadama. That's probably a topic for another video, but Akadama just didn't work for me. At least this size grain in Akadama did not work for me whatsoever. It is so big, dude. It is just, I was having a shrimp die here and there, and I wouldn't even notice because the substrate is so big. They would just lie inside in between the substrate. And it was just so difficult to work with. Also, my pH was very inconsistent. Now, for reference, this is ADA Amazonia Gold. This is Akadama. Akadama is sitting at 6.4 to 6.6 right now. Only a few months after setting this up. So obviously, for obvious reasons, that does not work for me. It's just, yeah, I do know that the Caridina can make it over 6.5 pH, but to me that didn't work. It was too high. I was having some deaths. I just completely reset everything, which is really easy, much easier than you guys will think. So that's why I'm gonna break it down in a very, very easy way today. How to get this tank to look like this in as minimal time as possible. Okay, so what's gonna happen, I'm gonna guide you guys through every single thing that I do now, which would include, first thing is first, I'm gonna drain this tank. I'm gonna move the filter over to this tank. Now remember, normally you can also put it in a bucket and just leave it running just so the beneficial bacteria doesn't die off. But being that I have other tanks, I can just move it over, leave it there for about an hour, which is probably what the process is gonna take. I'll drain this, dump this out, clean it out, and then start working on a UGF. This one's gonna have a UGF, just like the rest of them, which I seem to like so far. I haven't had many issues with them getting clogged up or whatever, which so far is what I hear a lot of people have problems with, but we'll get to that when we get to that. So far, everything's been very minimal. As you guys can see, some of the tanks are doing great. Got Black Fancy Tiger tank here, ton of babies. I've got some culling to do as well. I'm gonna guide you guys through that video also next on how to cull for some of you guys that might be newer into the shrimp hobby. I wanted to show you guys just how I go about it. Now, mind you guys, whenever you guys watch my videos, it doesn't mean this is the only definite way to do things. There's many ways to do things. It's just, I'm trying to show you guys the way I do things, okay? So this might work for you, or this might not work for you. Some of you guys are even more so knowledgeable than me. So, you guys might have better ideas, but let's get right to it. First thing I'm gonna do, move this filter over and start draining this tank. Just for reference though, I did want to show you guys just how big the Akadama is. I added some food yesterday just to catch all the shrimp that were in here. And look at that. Anything can just climb in there. You still have some activity in here. I just removed the shrimp yesterday, but you guys can see just why this wouldn't work. It just didn't work for me at all. I got a really great deal on Akadama. I think I told you guys I got like 3 bags for like 40 bucks or something like that. So, which is a great steal. But this is what the new tanks look like. There's baby Black Fancy Tigers there. Minimal soil. Some moss, weeping moss, frog bit up there. There's shrimp everywhere in this tank. There's probably about 40-50 shrimp in here. And this is pretty much what they look like. I'm gonna show you guys in the other video how I got them all to look this way and why it really, I know I've switched things around a little bit, but I feel like I've definitely I've definitely found the method that works for me. This is so easy to work with. It's just a setting up, honestly. And in this video, I'm going to show you guys just how easy a reset can be. Even if you're a beginner, you've never done this before, I'm about to guide you through it. All right, just to be on the safe side, this left hand tank did have some babies, which I moved out, but as you guys know, babies are tiny. Sometimes they're just so difficult to get. I'm not gonna squeeze this filter out because I'm gonna wait for that once I put it in the new tank. So I'm just gonna slowly dump it in here and try to not make such a big mess, even though it kind of is already. You guys see that. Now we start draining this tank. I guess another cool thing that I wanted to really show you guys is just how I do stuff around here. Like everything I do is manual. There's not a single thing that I do that's automatic or automated in here. As you guys can see, I have I have a lot of tanks, but I think to me personally, that's some of the satisfaction that I get with shrimp keeping. And in all honesty, I love having to do things manually. It's very relaxing for me. I do this every weekend. I do small water change, and I still use one of these. Okay, so some of you guys might be doing this, think there's a better way out there. There is. There definitely is. But I mean, will it work any better? I think the only difference to that is that you know you do less work. And so I still do this, and I just really wanted to show you guys this. And I'm also going to show you guys the way that I fill up my tanks too, because I do have an RO unit. It's sitting outside in the garage, and so I just bring the 5-gallon buckets in. But even at that, like, I don't have an automated like pump to fill the tanks. And so I do a pretty cool method in which I'm going to show you guys today. Some of you guys might be a little crafty out there. You guys might have a better system, but I'm going to show you guys how I do it. For now, let me just drain this tank, clean this tank up. Then I'll come back to set up the tank, to set up the UGF, and show you guys what products I use just for the reset. And yeah, I think that's it for now. So let me just finish draining this tank. All right, guys, so this isn't the best angle, but this will have to work for now. This is normally what I said, where I set this up. I use the washer as a table. So really cool thing that I want to show you guys is I've cleaned the tank, I've drained the tank, I've set up the UGF. For a lot of you guys, you can always set this. You know, UGFs are pretty cool. You can set where exactly you want the height to be at. And normally I go pretty much up there. The water will fill up right around here, maybe a little bit lower like that. But anyway, I'm going to show you guys that. And for this, I'm using two products. Really the main products I use: Van Ecological Bacteria. This is powder bacteria. And of course, I also use nitrifying bacteria by Van. I love these products so much. I ordered some in bulk. This is 2 liters. Will last me probably about a year. So really cool thing about this that I'm going to show you guys. I'm also using ADA Amazonia version 2 for this one. I ran out of the gold, but version 2 for the most part in my experience has actually cycled a little faster than gold. Gold just seems to release a little bit more ammonia. What I do, I add some of this powder bacteria and the UGF under the soil first. It's just something that I like to do, and I also do some in the front under the soil as well. We'll cap it with a little bit more, but I am going to add some just to the front. I like to think that if you do it this way, let me show you guys. If you do it this way, you know, bacteria will just colonize under the soil as well, which can't be bad, right? And so this stand is not helping me out. Okay, so what I'm gonna show you guys is how much I use. This method has been very, very, very good for me as far as like not using a lot of soil. This is the cup that I use. I think if you guys have seen my videos before, you guys know which cup I'm using. It's the same great cup I've used for a while. And for the most part, 2 of these cups will fill up this UGF box. That's one right there. And the other one will fill it up all the way to the brim, actually. Check this out. This is number 2. As a matter of fact, I guess I could do a little bit more. Huh. Let's do a tiny bit more. I guess I'll do one more full scoop, but I won't add it all in there. I'll do some in here in the UGF box. And the rest of it, this is gonna go in the front, just here. Normally I just do one big clump, but this seems to work out better. I always end up just moving all the soil around anywhere, just spreading it out. So I have a good idea of how much I want. I don't want a bunch of soil. Guys, another thing that I should have mentioned, I'm not really great at this stuff. I just try to share this with you guys. Another thing that I should have mentioned is, why are we doing this? Why are we resetting the tank? You guys have seen, I think, one other video from me whenever I reset into the Akadama, and that's what it should look like. Nothing crazy, nothing wild. And now I'm gonna add a little bit more powder bacteria up top. I just wanted to give you guys a good view of what it looks like. This phone stand is just not helping me out. Let's move it down a little bit. Yeah, it's too dark. Hopefully this works for you guys. But why are we doing this? Why are we resetting this tank? Well, for the most part, if you guys are keeping Caridina tanks, if you guys are keeping Neo Caridina's tanks, this doesn't even apply to you guys. You know, you guys don't use substrate that buffers soil, the pH or anything like that. So you guys, for the most part, shouldn't have to encounter having to reset a tank. But when you're using Caridina, you're using substrate like ADA, Amazonia. It does tend to buffer for so long, which is, you know, on average about a year or so. Then after a year, it'll stop. It'll just completely deplete itself from being able to buffer pH, which is why we end up having to reset the tanks. And now, of course, if you already have a tank that's cycled, you've already got shrimp in there. How do you do this? How do you make this whole process? Well, obviously, that's the whole point behind having another seeded filter, which is, you know, the whole point of, let me just put this here. If you have a seeded filter, right, then it'll cut the process down a little bit. Maybe not a lot, but it'll cut it down some by a few weeks at least, having, I forgot to add the powder bacteria. Let me do this. I'll do it right now, actually. But it just colonizes the bacteria much faster, especially if you have a sponge filter full of it. But if you don't, then the process is going to take a little bit longer, especially with a substrate like ADA Amazonia that is just very mineral rich, and it just releases a lot of ammonia. So on the most part, for about a year or so, you should be good. Some people do 9 months, which is what I'm aiming for, just to keep things fresh. Having so many tanks gives me the liberty to be able to move stuff around, move my shrimp around when I need to. But this is what it looks like. This is what, if you were to set up this tank, this setup could also work for you. If you were to want to set this tank up brand new, a brand new cycle, this is pretty much what I would do. Nothing different, except of course I'm now have the luxury of having that sponge filter over here that's seated. That's gonna just fast forward everything and make it much faster. So I hope that helped some of you guys. I'm not great at explaining these things, but it is very necessary to make sure to cycle tanks completely before adding shrimp to it. So now I'm gonna show you guys a really cool thing that I do now, and it's actually kind of funny, but I'm gonna show you guys how I fill these tanks back up. All right, so now it's time to fill up the tanks. I wanted to show you guys what I do. This is right here is exactly what I do. I get this 2x8, I put it up here. It sits evenly across all tanks so that I can then set my bucket on top of this, and it'll be totally fine because I'm distributing the weight of the bucket across several tanks and not just one tank. That might not be something so crazy, but one more thing that I do is add a little suction cup to the inside of the bucket so that I can then connect that air line that I'm using to fill this like this. Okay, so let me do this. And this is just a way for it to not fall off. You can definitely do this without the airline. But let me set this in a different place so I can show you guys exactly how this is supposed to look like once I put it up there. Make sure this doesn't fall. Okay, so now the bucket will now go up here, right? For the most part, it's pretty sturdy. Maybe it's a little uneven here because of this lid. This little shrimp I'm holding may go back in there. And now I'm gonna show you guys this process. A lot of people say they hate this process. They hate having to suck on one end of the line to get water, but I always said it before and I'll say it again. If you haven't sucked fish tank water into your mouth, then maybe you're not a real fish keeper. And that's it. It's a very simple process, as you guys saw. This is probably gonna take about an hour to fill up at this rate. And I'll just slowly be filling that up. I mean, I'm very proud of it. I first time I thought of it, I was like, oh, what the hell? I can make this happen. And every single time after that, I've been able to make that happen and just fill it up like this. So I'm gonna give you guys an update right now when it's full. But in theory, this is how I reset my tanks. It's very easy. Add the new soil. Of course, the next step, if I were to do it again, I would probably buy more UGFs, set them up in a bin, cycle them for about a month, and then when it comes time to reset, I would, and I'm sure you guys, when the time comes, I'm gonna show you guys, probably drain this 50%, scoop that UGF out, and put a brand new UGF in there with new soil, and let it get to work while I slowly drip the water back inside. It would be like a major water change, if that makes any sense, but that's how I would go about it. This is how I do my resets, and right now when it's full, I'm gonna show you guys. I'm gonna put this back in here and squeeze it and add some liquid bacteria as well. Remember, ADA Amazonia, whether it's version 1, gold, 2, all of it leaches ammonia. So you've got an ammonia source already. You just need that beneficial bacteria to get this tank cycled. And that's where the seeded sponge filter comes in. It's very, very important, because if you don't have this seeded sponge filter, like I mentioned already, then you have a whole new process of just it taking so much longer. Okay, so I'll be back. I'll show you guys an update when it's full. All right, guys, so this is what it looks like. It probably took me about 2 hours to get that filled up. But I wanted to show you guys this next process. Of course, that is going to be to get this sponge filter. Of course, I got to make sure to get all the shrimp out of it. There's a bunch of shrimp on there already. There we go. And we're gonna move it over. And when we do, I'm just gonna squeeze it. Squeeze it as much as I can. As dirty as this is, I haven't cleaned this sponge filter in probably about 6 months or so. You guys can see just how much gunk was in it. I need to fix this line right now. I'm gonna leave it on this side. And that's pretty much it. As a matter of fact, no, it's not. Okay, so now it's a time when I would still add a little bit more bacteria. There we go, we add some bacteria. You guys are gonna be surprised just how, one more thing I'm gonna add just a little bit of remineralizer. I don't add much. I can always adjust that before I get the shrimp in there. And this is how I go about resetting my tanks the easiest way possible. I'm gonna show you guys in 24 hours, I'll show you guys an update of how it looks. You guys are gonna be surprised just how clean that tank is. And so, this is how I do it. I'll give you guys an update in 24 hours. I'm sure this is gonna be crystal clear by then. Got the sponge filter back there with the UGF. Looking good. I've got a bunch of really cool stuff in this tank too that I'm hoping to show you guys soon. But I'll give you guys an update in 24 hours. Okay guys, so 24 hours and this is what the tank looks like. As you guys can see, looks pretty good. It's not exactly 100% clear in there just yet. But I'm liking it so far. Next step would be, now mind you guys, for the next few days, for the next week or so, I'll still be adding daily bacteria or liquid bacteria just to, you know, help out the bacteria column. It just colonize and just do its thing. Another thing that I'm going to be doing, some of this frog bait, I just added this, but it grows so good. I'm going to add some over here, and this this moss also goes over here. And so that's the only thing that's left to do. Other than that, just monitor water parameters before I add anything in there. These shrimp are going back in here once everything's set up, and yeah, it's a pretty neat process. I did it for every one of my tanks now, and so far I really like it. I've had a lot of activity. This is my black fancy tiger tank. Next video I'm actually gonna just hang out with you guys. We're gonna catch all of these shrimp and call and go about culling this colony. There's a lot of great looking females and some really nice adults, but I do want to call this, and I'm actually going to do it with you guys. So, you know, this is a video, a lot of you guys might already know a lot of this information, but this is a way for me to just catch up with you guys, show you guys what I've been up to, and just share with you guys some of the next ideas that I have, some videos. If you guys have any questions whatsoever about this, comment down below. I do get to most of the comments. Right now I'm in a position where I can just check comments, you know, every night. And so I will get back to you guys. And if not, you guys can also follow my Instagram and join my Discord server. I have a community Discord server, which is really great. And if you guys have any questions about any type of shrimp, I also keep Neos. I just set up some Neo tanks. I'll show you guys that next also. And just let me know. Let me know down below. What do you guys think of this? Do you guys think this looks better than the Akadama did? And if so, like, just let me know what you guys think about this. And so far I'm really liking this. I wish I could focus on the babies. There's babies in this tank. Absolutely amazing. I love this setup. Love the frog bit up there as well. Look at that. They're tiny, but they grow so good. This is a different type of moss too. I've got a lot of willow moss now. It's a slower growing moss. And since these grow so fast, I wanted some type of moss that wouldn't grow so fast. So yeah, once again, thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys really soon. And thank you guys very much for all the support. I do see, you know, all the likes and comments on all my videos. I'll see you guys soon. Stay shrimping.